Hey everybody, it's Kerry, owner and maker of Couture Candle Company. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you're having a great day. If you clicked on this video, it's because you love math, you don't know what a COGS is, you just want to see my face. All right, let's get into it. COGS. What are COGS? COGS are cost of goods and services. Services is the part of the equation that I think gets missed a lot, certainly in talking with other vendors, other small business owners. So COGS is basically when you're making, so if you want to make a candle, how much does it cost to make that candle? And the S, the services, if you were to pay someone to make that same candle, how much would it cost? Like, what is that hourly rate? And so you want to make sure you're covering everything from top to bottom in your COGS. The most economical way to keep your COGS down is to buy in bulk as much as you can, when you can. So to get started with your COGS, you basically want to start from top to bottom or bottom to top. If you're a candle maker, you're going to start bottom to top. And you want to line item the cost of every single thing that it takes to make the candle. I want to make a note that, or I want to note to you, this does not include the utensils and vessels that you use to like mix the wax, you know, blotter strips, all of that stuff. It's only the items that go into the product that are then sold to clients. Okay, so starting from bottom to top, I'm gonna start with the warning label. When I first started, I was buying a 100-piece roll. And so now that the business has grown and it's bigger, it's more economical for me and I'm able to buy a 1,000-piece roll. And there's a 2 cents savings there. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I promise you it all adds up. 5 cents, 2 cents, 50, you know, whatever it is, trust me, it all contributes to what the bottom line is for your COG. So 1,000-piece roll, we're saving 2 cents there. Then the next thing is the vessel. I guess that should have came first because I wouldn't have anything to put the warning label on, but you know, go with me. So the vessels are probably one of the most expensive things just because they're not cheap if you've ever sourced a vessel. And I use double-walled vessels, so they're a little bit more expensive than other vessels. But I have to say that if you are buying your vessels in piecemeal, you are taking money out of your own pocket. Buy them in bulk. Like, and this is gonna sound weird. So, all right, for us to save the most amount of money because of shipping, it makes sense to buy 3 cases at a time. I know, it's ridiculous, but they're too far to drive and it's just not worth like the gas and time that we have it shipped. So if we ship have more than 3 cases shipped to us at a time, the price actually goes up. It's crazy. But this is why you write it all down and put it on paper. Let's talk about wax. So this is something that I was buying super small, as small as I could. I think 5 or 10 pounds was the smallest because you have to test. It's just part of the process of building. So wax. So a 10-pound bag of the wax that I use is $30.23. But now that I know the wax that I want growing, I buy the 45-pound cases at a time. So it's just a huge 45-pound box. And that is $114.67. So that saves me over 50 cents. Isn't that crazy? Like, that's an immediate jump right there. Being able to buy the bigger box, and now I've got the DigiBoil, so that holds, I think it holds 60 something pounds. I think it's 60 pounds of wax, but that is a huge cost savings right there. So, but if you can only get the 10 pounds, understand that ups your cost of goods. Like, it makes it more expensive to make your candle. All right, the next item to make the candle is fragrance oils, essential and fragrance oils. So depending upon how many, like I typically use 2 to 4 different fragrances in my candles because I custom blend, I don't pour anything out of the bottle. So a 16-ounce bottle, on average, let's say for the most expensive oil is $25.12. So if I buy the 5-pound jug, which is now again what I'm doing, to lower my cost of goods. It's $112. So that saves me 17 cents an ounce. We're adding up here, right? We're almost at 70 cents in savings right now. Okay, so with the wicks, I misremembered. I was buying a dozen at a time as I was testing. They came in a 12-pack, a 100-pack bag, or a 1,000-piece box. So the 100-piece bag, they're 10 cents a piece for the wicks. When you graduate to being able to buy more, the 1,000-piece box, it drops down to 8 cents a piece. So that's another 2 cents. So now I think we're at 71 or 72 cents that we've saved by buying bigger, buying bulk. So speaking of wicks, to attach the wick to the vessel, you're going to need a wick sticker. So they come in a 100-piece roll or a 1,000-piece roll. And the difference is that it is 5 cents a wick for the 100-piece bag, or 2 cents a wick for the 1,000-piece. I mean, it's another 3 cents that we're saving. We're at like 75 cents now. So we've got our warning label, we have our vessel, we have our wax, we have our fragrance oils, we have our wicks, and our wick stickers. The next thing that we're going to need is some type of packaging. So I use white glossy gift boxes. We used to use the craft recyclables, but I found white recyclables and I think they're prettier and nicer, but whatever. Anyways, so that I also buy in bulk. So the next item on my COGS list is a business card. I put a business card in with every purchase. So I consider that as part of the cost of goods, because whether I'm shipping the order or I'm packing it in person at a market, I'm dropping a business card in there, and those cost money and they're not free, and you have to account for those somewhere. And for me, could be a total, philosophy discussion, but I think that should certainly be included in the cost of goods. So if you have a postcard or a little flyer, anything, that should be, in my opinion, included in your cost of goods line, because no product goes out the door without that in it. So the final physical piece is the label. So, and this is a learn from me. When I first started, I created the labels, I designed the labels, and then I went to Avery.com and I had them print the labels for me because we had a really shitty printer. And I wanted them to be perfect. You pay a pretty penny to have them print your labels for you. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous, but that dug into my bottom line. It is so freaking expensive. Buy the labels, download, you can buy the labels from Avery, and they'll give you all the different variations of the template depending upon what kind of computer you have. So then you can put your design into the template and print it yourself at home. I cannot recommend that enough. It dropped our cost of goods like crazy because, my God. Until I was truly like digging in, looking up all the pricing, seeing the difference between 100-piece, 1,000-piece, whatever, the labels were like, my God. You don't need to have an expensive, fancy pants printer. On Black Friday last year, I picked up an eco tank. So basically, instead of using cartridges, you're using ink. So it's more sustainable. It's better for the environment. There's no like chemicals or fumes or anything from filling it in, but it's supposed to last like quadruple the amount of time than a regular cartridge printer. And it was only like $200. And I love it. So all the labels, everything is, I've been printing them now for a while because that was a painful lesson to learn. When you go to make a candle, you're not just making one candle, you're making a batch of candles. So depending upon what type of setup you have and how many candles you're able to make will determine the amount of candles you can do in a batch. So for me, I can do approximately, anywhere from 70 to 100 candles a day, like in batches, like a big batch. And that's only possible because of this DigiBoil here. I used to use this guy right here, which is a 5-pound wax melter. And because a double boiler method, it's too time consuming. And this guy, I could only do like the smallest of batches. It was taking me so much time to make candles. It got to be overwhelming. But as we grew, thankfully, I was able to get this Digiboil because the wax is hot, it's there, I just pour it and go. With the small melter guy, I had to keep filling the wax, wait for it to melt, get back up to temp. It was so much managing. I'm much more efficient. So for your time, so let's say you wanted, if you were to do wholesale or private label, you have to include your service. So in an hour, how many candles can you make and how much you want to charge an hour? So let's say it's, I don't know, I'm just going to say $20 an hour to do however many candles you can do. So that needs to be included in your cost of goods and services. Just something to consider. If you don't want it to be a line item, you can also consider what the add-on is in terms of what your profit margin is. So 3x, 4x, whatever that may be for you. So I recommend cogging out every product that you make and sell because they're all going to have different price points. So the best way to figure out pricing, and this is very personal and it is so different depending upon your business, your product, etc. So this is just a general guideline. So let's say it costs $6 to make a candle, and that includes your time. So COGS all up, let's make a nice even number, $6. You're gonna multiply that by 2 or 2.5, and this is just basically a markup percentage for making money, because if the candle costs $6, you sold it for 10, I don't think you'd be very successful. So to figure out your pricing, and this is all very personal and specific to you, your product, how much time it takes to make your product. Let's say this candle is $6, COGS straight up, including your time. You want to multiply that by 2 or 2.5, and then add on another 10 to 15 to 20%, depending again on how difficult or labor intensive it is to make your product. If it's not labor intensive, I would fall to the 10% or 12% side. If it's very time and labor intensive, I would recommend paying yourself, 15, 18, 20%. I have one last piece of advice or parting tip, if you will. So once you've done all of your COGS and you can step back, take a look at the landscape of what your product pricing looks like. Be very cognizant of these prices when you start bundling and making sets. So just keep your finger on the pulse of your pricing. Some things may not be able to be bundled. It may not make sense to make a set. It may not make sense to do a bundle. So, and that's okay. It's totally fine. Absolve yourself of feeling the need, if you are like me, to want to just give all the things in like the nicest little package as possible. All right, that does it for me with this video. I know it was a lot of information, but I hope you found it useful. I hope you found it helpful. I would be remiss if I didn't point out and give credit where credit is due. Pete, my husband, he helps me with all of this. If you need to have someone to ground you, because sometimes I'm like, blah, and I want to I'm out here, I'm out everywhere in the ether, just trying to I'm just doing all the dreams, and then he kind of pulls me in a little bit, well, hold on a second, and I appreciate him and I appreciate his support so much, because I couldn't do this company or run this business without him. He is the silent partner behind me, but he is a part of this business. We created it together. He likes to joke that he taught me how to make candles and I created a business out of it, but that's not entirely true. I could not have done this without him. So thanks, Pete. Again, this is just one way. There is no the way. You know what I'm saying? There's a myriad of different ways and formulas that you can get to your profit margin based off of your base COGS. So let me know down below what you think, if you found this helpful. I'd love to hear from you. Again, thank you so much for tuning in and supporting me. I super appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Get those dollar bills. Things just got really weird. I'm sorry. I've been sitting here for a minute and I have to pee really bad. My God. Ugh.